Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1179, written by Thebeefchief. I witnessed a star extinguished from existence. It was late at night. I can't remember the date, but it was about 2 years ago. I had just finished a shift working at a bar I used to work at during university. I was looking up into the night sky, pondering human existence, yada yada. Then, whilst looking at a cluster of stars, one just blinked out. It was there, not extremely bright, but bright enough. Then it was gone. I was there for about 15 minutes, seeing if it came back, but it didn't. To this day, I can't explain what happened. Did I witness the death of a star? I just don't know. It's incredible to think of the possibilities and the vast improbability of what I could have seen. I can't explain it. Case notes for file 1179. I witnessed a star extinguished from existence. I think Occam's razor would suggest you simply saw the last light of a dying star. Most think that all stars explode in a violent supernova at the end of their life, but others do just slowly fade out after becoming red giants. The light can become so dim that you can no longer detect it. The thing is though, that would take a long time, so the light would diminish over thousands of years, not suddenly. So another possibility, far more cool, is you witnessed the final glimmer of light before that star was entirely encapsulated by an alien species finishing up its Dyson swarm, which, if you don't know, is a construct whereby quadrillions of small reflective platforms surround an entire volume of a star and collect 100% of its energy output. You might have heard of a Dyson sphere. It's the same principle, but instead of an entire sphere, it's floating platforms that can adjust their position, and it's more efficient if you do it that way. And basically it's a solar power on giga-level steroids. So an alien story a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Because the light we see in the night sky, it's been traveling to us for thousands, sometimes millions of years from different galaxies. The night sky is a grand archive of the universe's past. It's beautiful. Bonus file written by ohitsmat, The Shadow of Nightmares. When I moved in with my now ex-girlfriend, she told me she would frequently jolt awake and see a shadowy figure standing in a room or at the foot of her bed or even sitting on the bed. She said that no matter where she was living, she had seen it. I never thought much of it. I told her about sleep paralysis and told her about some things to ease it. One night around 3 a.m., I got shook awake by a hysterical girlfriend just screaming, and I can't understand her. I look on her side of the bed and see this tall, shadowy figure. I asked who it was. I wanted to sound tough, but I'm pretty sure my voice cracked. I didn't wait for an answer. I lunged at this thing, and my girlfriend started screaming. I saw this shadowy thing on the floor and just started stomping the hell out of it while also screaming and finally telling her to turn on the lights. The thing I was stomping on was my blanket. She was screaming at first because she said she woke up with the shadowy figure standing over me and, in her words, messing with me. After I tried tackling it, she was screaming because I was yelling. I told her to sit on the bed and looked around the apartment. Didn't find anything. Freaked me the hell out. Cops appeared outdoors 10 minutes later to make sure things were okay. Probably freaked a neighbor out. After that, whenever I was at my apartment, I would feel like something was watching me. After me and the girlfriend broke up and I moved out, I never felt like that again. I'm just happy that when faced with a fight or flight moment, I decided to tackle that thing, whatever it was, which was probably nothing. Case notes for the bonus file, The Shadow of Nightmares. I agree with your self-assessment. It's impressive that you decided in fight or flight, thus also freeze, to fight to protect yourself and your then girlfriend. Commendable. These shadow beings are likely real humans, breaking through the thin membrane between parallel worlds, incapable of crossing over entirely, usually, and perhaps even trapped between both worlds. But I don't think they're harmful, necessarily. I mean, some of them could be. I mean, if it's a madman villain, that's crossing over, but most people are good, and I assume most people in other parallel worlds are also good. The eternal optimist I am. Bonus file: the sinister secret of our recurring nightmares. The house I used to live in, between the age of 4 and 10, had a cellar of the dank, dark kind. This cellar was accessed through a door in the kitchen. Between the kitchen and living room were the staircase leading upstairs. Every single night I had the same recurring dream that I'd fall down the staircase, feeling the fall. I'd be unable to get back up, like climbing 2 steps and falling back down 1, and that something very bad was coming up from the cellar to get me. Having this nightmare every single night was no fun at all, but it stopped when we moved houses. It was only a few years back. I'm almost 40 now. I was out having a few beers with my sister. We got talking and she mentioned having a recurring nightmare when she was a child. Yep, you guessed it. We ended up finishing each other's sentences as we both had the exact same recurring nightmare in that property. My mother used to work part-time at a teacher's college, and I did the odd evening bartending at the small bar they had on site. It was rumored to be haunted, and I've heard of all sorts of strange tales that the staff there have spoken about. One particular evening, we headed down the long dead-end hallway. The bar was on the left at the bottom, and the site manager's office on the right at the bottom. The door to the bar was locked, so we turned 180 to get the key out of the manager's office. Only thing is, our key for the manager's office wouldn't turn. We tried for a few minutes trying the door, nothing. It was like we had the wrong key, although we only had the one key, and it had always worked before. Anyway, we decided to go find the security guy who would have a spare. We walked maybe 10 feet up the corridor when my mother realized that the manager didn't start for another half hour, so we just have to keep trying. We turned around, walked back, and the door was now half open. Now this corridor is a complete dead end at the side. The room was empty, no one came past us, and when we opened the bar, also empty. This final story also involves the same location as the second story, the teacher's college. My father used to drop me off and collect me when I do bar work there, as I hadn't passed my test at the time. The drive up to the college was through a few country lanes, and then down a long driveway of around a quarter of a mile, surrounded by lawns and odd bush. When my father collected me this particular evening, it was pitch black out. We were driving out, down the long drive, when bright green smoke rushed in. It went from one side of the road, across in front of our headlights, and over to the other side of the grounds, like a snake. It was swirling like it was in a long glass cylinder and didn't disperse. I completely crapped myself, and it was a few seconds before I asked my father if he saw it too. He claims now that it was someone burning leaves, but at the time he was as shook up as I. Case notes for the bonus file: the sinister secret of our recurring nightmares. Okay, that green smoke, combined with a snake appearing, is very creepy indeed. So many mythos involve snakes as being evil, or indeed representing temptation itself. Some kind of spirit is tethered to you, or at least was at some point, trying to lure you out, maybe tempt you into things that you shouldn't be doing. So be cautious of that. Now time for the quote of the day. Home computers are being called upon to perform many new functions, including the consumption of homework formerly eaten by the dog. Doug Larson. Yes, children now, teenagers, have to evolve in their tactics, because the dog ate my homework is just not a sufficient excuse anymore. The SSD lost the data, was corrupted? That might go a bit further. Gotta evolve your tactics. Keep that in mind, children. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.